Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda Marsalis. Welcome to Heard It on the Shark. I'll be your show host, and Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area is your show sponsor. Heard It on the Shark is a weekly interview show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi. Then it's released as a podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You'll hear interviews with the movers and shakers in North Mississippi who are making things happen. I'll talk to entrepreneurs, leaders of business, medicine, education, and the people behind all the amazing things happening in North Mississippi. When people ask you, how did you know about that? You'll say, I heard it on the Shark. Heard It on the Shark is brought to you by the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area. We want you to get out and discover the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark. And today in Sun Bear Studio, I have back with me Staff Sergeant Jordan Gillespie. Staff Sergeant Gillespie, congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you very much. It was kind of a shock to me that I was getting promoted this early. Love to see it.
So for those of you who remember, this is Sergeant Gillespie's. Now, do I have to call you Staff Sergeant? Every time I say it, do I have to say that? You've earned it, so I'm supposed to say it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just checking to make sure I want to do it right. Staff Sergeant Gillespie has been in here with me twice before. First, when he first came to the area, he is our Northeast Mississippi Marine recruiter. He goes in the high schools all over the area and recruits for the Marines. And he came in when he first got here, and then he came 3 months later, and now he's come back for a third time. We love having you back to see what's going on, and you have had a promotion, so that's awesome.
And I'm really glad to be back here as well.
So this broadcast will air on Veterans Day, and we planned it that way because I wanted you to talk a little bit about not only Veterans Day, but the 250th birthday of the Marines. So let's start there because I know that there's been some big doings and will be more all through the month of November. You'll be celebrating, but so let me see if I've got this right. The Marines came into existence November 10th of 1775.
Yes, ma'am. The Revolutionary War was fought, a little bit before the country actually came into existence. The Navy is how we kind of got our existence. The Navy came into Tun Tavern in Philadelphia as a bar, and they were kind of complaining like, man, we're getting our butts kicked out there. They were really good at the cannon shooting, but when it came to hand-to-hand combat and stuff, swinging swords, they weren't doing as good. And so they were complaining, and the bar owner, Samuel Nichols, who later became Captain Samuel Nichols, he was the kind of first Marine recruiter. He was like, hey, free drinks to anybody who will fight. And so that was the birth of the Marine Corps back in November 10th, 1775. And, ever since then, we've still been with our sister, the Navy. It's how we go on deployments. Anytime that we have our Marine Corps ball, we play the Anchors Away song, just kind of in honor and in tradition of our naval heritage.
Tell me about that. Have you already attended the ball?
Yes, ma'am. So our ball was on November 1st. We went up to Nashville, and all of the recruiters from all over Tennessee, northern Alabama, and northern Mississippi, we all came together as a unit. And then we also extended the invite to the veterans of the local area to Nashville. And so there was a really big turnout. It was really cool because Jamie Johnson was there as well. It was very cool to meet, a country icon like that, as well as being able to celebrate the quarter of a millennia.
It really has to be awe-inspiring kind of to think about, first of all, that our great country has made it 250 years and that the Marines have been there every step of the way.
Absolutely. And, I think we talked about this a little bit last time about how Marines are very traditional. We have, that's such a big, the heritage, the tradition, it's such a big part of it. And hitting a milestone like 250 years, it was all out.
You mentioned that the veterans in the Nashville area were invited, and because it's Veterans Day, let's just talk about that. That had to be really cool to see those veterans there. They have such strength and such honor.
And, that's one of my favorite things to do is, I get stopped in like Walmarts, and I get stopped in, just whatever store I may be in, anytime that anybody sees me in my uniform. And, especially if it's a Marine, they're like, oh man, I remember back in my Corps. And it's always awesome to hear, their stories. Talked with a Vietnam veteran a little while ago, and he was explaining to me one of the battles that we had to do a battle study on when I was in sergeant school. It was really cool to have like that firsthand account of, what happened. Vice having kind of a transcript of what happened, having that real personal account. You kind of feel that connection.
We had a Veterans Day program at Ripley High School, and one of the World War II veterans, who was in his early 90s at the time, stopped and started telling his story about he wasn't captured, but he had to hide, and his time in hiding and finding his way back, and more kids were wandering up while he was telling this story. Everybody was completely mesmerized because it just it's like it's not history anymore, it's real, because that human being standing with you lived through that.
And that's why I think that Veterans Day is such an important day. I think that I think there should be a little bit more, maybe not celebration, but more kind of like personification. Like, talk with your grandpa, talk with your grandma, whoever the veteran in your family is, or even if you have multiples, like just talk to them, figure out what their stories are, because there's a lot of them who want to tell it and just don't know how.
Okay, Shark fans that are listening, you've heard it from Staff Sergeant Gillespie. Get out there and find a veteran to talk to today. It's very important for them to tell their stories to you, and it's very important that you hear their stories because it ties us to our past, and that's so important. Let's take a little lighter note. What have you been up to in the last 3 months?
I've been, coming around to some of the different high schools. And speaking of, there's a Ripley native who will be coming back from boot camp very soon.
Okay, is that the first person who's gone off to boot camp and come back since you got here? You hadn't been here but 6 or 8 months, right? So
this will be, there's 2 of them, they went together, but they will be number 2 and number 3 for me. But it's the first Ripley native.
Okay, that's got to make you proud.
Oh, absolutely. And these 2 especially, they have been rock stars ever since they started coming to the recruiting station, doing the physical training. They've been asking questions, and they've just been overperformers the whole time. Before
we wrap up, let's have you tell people that are listening, if they don't know who their Marine recruiter is, or they have a grandson, a son, a daughter that maybe they think would be interested, how could they get in contact with you?
My number is 662-664-1550. My office is also located in Corinth at 1687 Virginia Lane.
And so they could either come by to see you or just call and say, okay, I've got a granddaughter in the 10th grade over in Kossuth, and I think that she'd benefit by talking to a Marine recruiter.
Absolutely.
What do you look forward to in the next 3 months? Because I want you to come back and keep talking to us every quarter or so and keep us apprised of what you're doing. So what you looking forward to?
Christmas and Thanksgiving are coming up, so that's going to be really fun. I don't know if I've ever said it before, but I have 5 kids and my wife, so it's always nice to have, the village holidays. And then New Year's will be coming around, about that time as well. So going to have a lot of festivities. A lot of family time.
Yeah, I saw you with your platoon at the Blue Mountain Festival this summer, and I was like, oh, wow, he's got his own tiny little army. And your wife is also, she's in the service too, right? Or is she active service?
No, she is a veteran. She was in the Navy as a Navy corpsman.
Staff Sergeant Jordan Gillespie, Marine recruiter for Northeast Mississippi. We are always proud to have you in the studio. Come back soon.
Absolutely.
Shark fans, that's it for this edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and you can find out what's going on from other local community leaders like Staff Sergeant Gillespie. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview or want access to this interview, go to our website, shark1023.com, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great rest of the day.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin' Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at mississippiHills.org.